amazing journey. I can't even tell you the kind of transformation I've also kind of experienced. I'm even in between another transformation right now because it's just clear that this seems to be like the primary assignment, and that we need to get more people liberated, and help them reinvent. I saw a couple of DMs today, and that just even took me on another level. That took me on another level. Hey, I'm sure we're good. We're good. We're good. I'm sure all is going on as expected. If you can see, I don't know, technical. If you could see us on YouTube, please confirm. And let's get this going. Let's get this going. I think saying with director. Okay, I think I'm on now. Coming on now. Okay, okay, great, great, great. So let me read the profile of Dr. Margaret Alabi. All right, Dr. Margaret Alabi is a growth mindset expert and seasoned leadership strategist. She is the CEO and founder of the Pivot Consulting Group, an advising and professional development outfit that supports individuals as well as organizational clients in making the proverbial pivot to achieve their goals. A pharmaceutical industry leader in patient advocacy, Margaret leverages over a decade of corporate experience and more than 36,000 hours of formal training in leadership strategy. Margaret is a highly sought after keynote speaker, a frequent podcast guest, and a regular feature in publications on leadership and culture. After paving our own way through the pressures of challenging corporate environments, Margaret now empowers individuals in their personal and professional evolution, and also works to build cultures that promote authenticity and balance. Ladies and gentlemen, with a rousing virtual applause, kindly please welcome Dr. Margaret Alabi.
Hi there, how are you?
Great to have you here. All right, so we see Patience here, Patience, we see Ifejesu, Oreditse, we see Ruru and Solomon. We believe others will join us as we go on, but we can't wait any longer. I'm sure some are also having network challenges, but we're good to go. We're good to go. So great to have you here. You look beautiful as usual.
Thank you. Thank you. It's
Awesome.
really a pleasure to be here.
Wow. Now, so it's been an amazing 2 weeks. All right, 14 days. This is day 15, but we've done 14 days in the program. All right, and
Congrats.
like this is like wrapping up to. So we finished 2 modules. The first module was on personal. We had this module on business, and then we're progressing into the module on sustaining the reinvention journey. And even as we speak, the reinvention journey has taken a whole lot of dimensions and even levels. And I can tell you without a doubt that we're so delighted to have you here. So let's get into the meat of the matter. Let's get into the meat of the matter. I'll ask this question, all right? I'll be asking a few questions, and then you begin to share your own experiences of reinvention at various levels. And I'm sure that at some point, you'll be connecting the dots in the minds of people, and we'll be able to get even people full of insights as to how to also begin to embark on their own reinvention. It's good to see you, Oluka Ade. Great to have you. Great to have you. Great to have you. So, ma'am, tell us, in your own words, what is reinvention? What is reinvention to you? What does it mean?
Wow. So for me, reinvention, it has a simple meaning that a lot of people may or may not be as clued into or tapped into. But for me, it actually stems from a biblical reference where we are to die to ourselves daily. So if you're dying to yourself daily, reinvention is a process that you become extremely comfortable with, because you realize in order to get to that next level or in order to attain that next goal, it requires the old to be passed away.
Hmm. Hmm. That's quite. All things to be passed away. Hey,
I mean,
but
it's like the other scriptural reference, you cannot put new wine into old wineskin. So, again, when I think about reinvention, those are some of the things that ground me as I prepare to take on this next level or these changes that are necessary for me to achieve my goals.
wow, interesting, amazing. Okay, and you see, I'm just because every time I ask this question, there's always a different dimension, and then you just set me rolling, and I'll be wondering what's going on. Okay, so since you started your reinvention journey, because hear you speak now, you say you have some journey that you're embarking on right now. Yeah. Okay, so you said you're embarking on this your own reinvention journey, and of course it's never ending. So
Right.
what would you say? How would you say it has been? Have you experienced any challenges?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of my friends who's from Ghana, he says to me, he gives me a quote from his childhood that he remembers. And he says, Margaret, you cannot pray for rain and not expect the mud. So for any of us who are thinking that we're just going to get blessings without some challenges,
Hmm.
then we're kind of lost in this whole process. And the challenges are not there to kick us off of our game. The challenges actually arise to make us that much better, so that the next time we are set to make a change, those challenges don't even bother us anymore, because we already got our footing the first go round. So for me, currently, transformation looks like shifting out of a corporate environment into a structure that allows me to serve people, humanity, in my highest form. And I believe that my highest form of service is to coach, encourage, and help people really shift their mindset in a way that helps them to identify their authenticity. Because with your full authenticity, or when you're operating from your authenticity, you're actually able to make boundless progress. And that's something that is not inherent after we get out of grade school. I think when we start off as kids, we have all this personality, and then we go to school and we're told what to do and how to be and how to show up and how to act. And then it's like, okay, great. Now you got to get into college. So then you do everything that the world tells you to do to get into college. Then you graduate. It's time to get a job. So now you're doing everything that the world tells you to do to be a hireable or eligible candidate. And then you get the job and you show up, but you're kind of empty, because you don't even remember who you really are. You don't even remember what your own personal strengths are, because
Hmm.
you've been doing everything that you've been told to do just to get here. So now you're exasperated and you're like, okay, what next? What do I do? Who am I again? And sometimes, even in the workplace or in our communities, we're told that our most authentic self isn't something that we should share with people. Whereas I think that's a complete and utter lie. And that is what my transformation has been all about, my personal transformation. When I show up in my most authentic self, how much progress am I able to make? And how quickly am I able to make it? Let me just be frank with you. Okay, the moment that I started showing up in my full authenticity,
Hmm.
saw tremendous and immediate impact as it relates to my community engagements, my earnings, my relationships, both with family and with friends. They
Hmm.
transformed immediately, because I was no longer concerned about being judged for the things that I know that are my strengths. I was
Mm-hmm.
no longer trying to conform myself to other people's standards.
Mm.
I stood wholly in who I was, and I found that things just started coming to me. I stopped expending energy trying to get there. Okay.
Yeah.
And in standing in my authenticity, things just started, and they are still coming my way. So it's been a beautiful transformative journey. It takes a lot to stay true to yourself. However, as you get more stable and more comfortable in standing in your authenticity, you'll find that people will just start, what's the word, confessing to you that, wow, they wish they could be as true to themselves as you are. So there's power in it when you show up as your true self, as your best self, not hiding your light, but owning your light and utilizing your light in a way that helps and supports others.
Mm.
People are going to, they're going to flock to you. They're going to want to be around you. Even the people that can't stand you, they're also looking at you because they're like, dang, I wish I had that level of confidence to just be and just be me. So that is where I'm at.
Wow. This is profound. So at some point I just begin to marvel at the your expressions also, and the way you use the words to craft this whole thing, and it's just setting me on another, path, and I'm beginning to wonder what then could be the motivation, all right? What gets you motivated, to be on this course? What is the motivation, if I may say? What is the motivation?
You know,
What gives you this motivation?
I can't say it's one thing, right? It's not just one thing. It's multiple things. But
Mm,
to narrow it down as best I can, it is just the full on awareness of my gifting. And when you are 100% aware of what you are created to do, you will not be able to rest until you start doing it. So
mm.
that's what motivates me. Like I get messages, I get, universal spiritual downloads all of the time that don't allow me to rest if I don't share them. So me. Because if I sit here and say, "Oh, yeah, as a kid," no, no, it's a spiritual thing that just moves me and shakes me into action.
I love that phrase. You get spiritual downloads.
It is. It's like daily moment. I would say in the moment, every moment, and that
Mm,
require. And anybody can get this. So I'm not a special person by any means.
mm,
We are
mm,
all capable of receiving spiritual downloads. The
mm,
difference between the people in this room with us right now and people that are perhaps not here today is the
mm,
fact that we have increased and heightened our level of awareness. When you increase and heighten your level of awareness, that means you're paying attention. When you're paying attention, that means you're seeing the things that can't be seen with the natural eye. That means you're hearing the things that can't be heard with the natural ear. Your
mm.
awareness actually opens up and increases your ability to receive. And that is, the number one way to access spiritual downloads.
Well, this thing you just started to take us on. I didn't want. I wanted to leave the bit around mindfulness and
Mm,
awareness to next week, but you seem to have just started to unpack this, and I will just talk around it briefly. I wanted us to just discuss around this briefly. So there are a couple of practices we've recommended. All right. So one is practicing silence. All right. Uh,
yes.
it's just an enabler to also come to an awareness. Okay.
Mhm.
And then you easily can experience in your own words the spiritual downloads. All right. Inspiration,
Yeah.
insights as they drop in. Uh, that's one thing. We also talked about affirmations. All right. That these are firm statements that resonate with us, and we emote every now and then just to, say it out within ourselves and say it out externally to the point where we start to see it manifest. Then
Yes.
we progressed on to the point around visualization, where we
Yeah.
can envision the kind of the beauty we so desire. So you now stepped on this pedal, all right, as to awareness, hi, and awareness tied to attention. Hmm.
Mhm.
Awareness. And it's almost tying into what we talked around focus. Okay.
Yes.
When we said, look, you must have laser focus, attention, attention, attention. Kai. So
Yeah.
tell me, when these things drop, how do you, because my own understanding is that there's a cloud, all right? The cloud is there,
Yeah.
but it's such that we need to download, also allow precipitation to take place. And
Yes.
while that is set to take place, it comes in droplets, rain
Mhm.
droplets, droplets, droplets. So how do we capture this? How do we harness this for our own good in setting our goals and achieving our personal development objectives?
You know, so you hit on a few of them already. Number one, focus, right? Number
Yeah.
two, definitely awareness. And so if
Mm,
there's one additional thing that I may add to practices for increasing your mindfulness and just being more aware is to also take note of the thoughts that you're thinking, right? When you think about what you're thinking, it automatically puts you in a place where you can shift, or as I like to say, pivot, so that you
mm,
can be in the best position to receive that download from that cloud. If you are not taking care to, as the Bible says, think on those things that are lovely, think on those things that are beautiful,
good,
think on those things that are true and of good
mm,
repute,
mm,
it's going to be very difficult for that precipitation or
mm,
download to
mm,
happen. So, thinking about your thoughts and ensuring that your focus is on those things that are above, not those things that you can see with your visible eyes. How many of us in the room know, and you can, shout in your own personal space, but how many of us in the room know that sometimes our eyes can deceive us? How things look around us aren't actually what it is. We know
mm,
this because we're spiritual. We know this
mm,
because we serve God, a God that never fails, that never dies.
mm,
So we
mm,
know that things are always happening and occurring, moving and
mm,
shifting on our behalf, even if we can't see it in the physical realm. So
mm,
that's why it's important to think about what we're thinking about. The
mm,
time the time difference between your request or the desire that you make known and your realization, the download or precipitation of that desire into this
mm,
physical space, is
mm,
hinged on your thought life. If your thought life is off, honey, you can kiss that blessing down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more months, years, however you want to do it. If your
mm,
thoughts are not aligned to what you're asking for, you can't ask God. The Bible says bitter and sweet water cannot come out of the same fountain. Here you are asking for sweet things, but you're thinking bitter thoughts. You're thinking thoughts of hopelessness. You're thinking thoughts of fear. You're thinking thoughts of doubt. How can you expect the precipitation, the download of that request into this natural life? It doesn't work.
mm. You're taking us on another gear now, where you start to talk about thoughts, and thoughts are things, all right?
Yes,
And as a man thinketh, so is he,
yes,
and that's real and very apt. Wow. So you know, you answered part A of that question. The part B of the question is now in tandem with awareness.
yes,
Okay, we've come to the realization that awareness is key, which is a key practice tied towards mindfulness.
yeah.
Now, can you tell us how you, using awareness, use it to apply to the implementation of your goals, of getting your goals, done?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, awareness is, I think, foundational to the achievement of any goal because it helps us to understand when our ego is starting to creep in. We have however many goals that we set before ourselves. Sometimes those goals require help. So if your awareness is heightened, you're able to understand where you need to seek help and or when to receive help if help is offered.
Mm,
An additional thing that awareness brings into your mind as you're thinking about achieving your goals is just the very understanding that, look, this may or may not be the best path. Or actually, how do I rephrase that? Actually, I'd like to rephrase that. So for me, let me give just a really key example, right? That happened to me last year. So in addition to running the Pivot Consulting Group, I'm still a full-time employee. I work for a major pharmaceutical company that's based out of Belgium. And I started working at that company in November of 2019. I was hired on in what seemed to be a fairy tale way. It was a major part of a manifestation I was looking for. I had received, geez, like a 20 to 30K increase in my salary. I was riding on cloud nine. Like there, everything about it seemed like a honeymoon, right? And then January 2020 hit. This is before the pandemic.
mm,
The woman that hired me turned into a monster. When I say real monster, she turned into what I think was a monster. Now, let me be clear. I typically don't like labels. So mentally, I had labeled her. And that's another thing to take a note about when you think about awareness. Having a heightened level of awareness helps you to understand when you're labeling things. When we begin to label things, again, as you pointed out, sir, thoughts become things. So I labeled her a monster. She continuously showed up as a monster
mm,
until I
mm,
had a heightened level of awareness and I had to step back. And in that heightened level of awareness, I had to ask, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this person and from this situation? This is only happening because of a request that I made. I asked for a new thing.
mm,
In getting that new thing, this is my pass go test. Am I going to pass or am I going to fail?
mm,
Labeling that woman as a monster, I was already failing. I began to turn my failing grade into a pass, go, and collect when I stepped away from it and realized that she is not
mm,
truly, she's not a detriment to me. She is a part of my personal growth. How can
mm,
I learn from the behavior? What is her behavior highlighting in me? Right? Oh, okay. I thought I was better at, dealing with difficult people. Clearly, I'm not. So great. Let me go inside and start to think about what is it that is triggering me to
mm,
to a reaction as opposed to being firm in who I know that I am and my most authentic self and still being able to show up as me. I'm a happy, loving, gregarious person. Why is it that when I engage with this individual, I lose that? That is what awareness does for you as you're achieving your goals. It
mm,
helps you to refine your ability to show up and ensuring that you're showing up in a way that honors who you are, honors what you were put on this earth to do, and allows you to sustain that growth or whatever it is that you're getting out of that moment. Long story short, I had a major pivot in February. I had a major mindset pivot, and I realized that the best way to deal with this individual is to stay true to myself. When she showed up with words that were inconsistent with who I know that I am, I still showed up in love because that's who I am. That's one of my personal values. So
mm,
I still showed up in love. I had to hold my own ground. Things are constantly changing around us. Our only job is to
mm,
stay stable and stay firm in who we know we've been called and created to be. When we start changing with the things around us, we'll find ourselves in calamity. So, in holding true to my personal value of love, and every time she said a word about me that was inconsistent with who I know I am, I replaced that word with the truth about me. The other thing that I did in my mindfulness, so you talked about sitting still. So, in those moments of stillness, I would visualize her congratulating me on a new job because honestly, I didn't want to work for her anymore. I used my visualization time to hear her and see her saying, Margaret, congratulations on your new job. By May of 2020, I had a new job and she congratulated me just like I saw it in my vision. Not only did she do that, she left the company. And when we threw her a going away party, she said to me, and the other people in the room would never understand what those words meant to me, but I
Mm.
knew I had passed my test when this woman said this. She said,
Oh,
Margaret, I'm so proud of you. Now you have your wings and you can fly. I'm
whoa.
like, thank you, God. Can you imagine? In my low level of awareness, I was resisting everything that this woman's behavior was put in place to show me and to strengthen in me and to grow in me. I was resisting it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Somebody who doesn't have awareness.
Look, you know, you I don't know how you've just gone on this. I had a path I wanted to pursue, but somehow this has now become hydra-headed, in the sense that at some point we started to speak, and when we started to
Yeah.
talk around, be careful what you ask for. But even when you ask for rain, be expectant of mud, all right?
Mud.
And
Oh, come on.
there'll be
Yeah.
mud now.
Yeah.
You're asking for rain. There'll be mud, there'll be storms, all right? Occasional thunders and lightning. Okay, so that will happen. Now, you now went on to talk about around awareness. And beyond the awareness, you breathed down around attention, okay? And you said you'd admonish us to also imbibe some form of mindfulness. But
Yes.
that's not even what just got me, you know. So you set out three things that we also must be aware of. So he said that in a state of awareness, and I'm saying this for the benefit of those that are just joining, or those that I even get just to re-echo this. So he
Yeah.
said that we must be aware to the point where we must be able to know when we need help.
Yes.
Do you understand? So that in our search, we can also search for help. That's
Yes.
what. The other thing is that we must be aware of the moment when we really want to receive help. Somebody is offering us help. We must be aware because sometimes these things happen, but because of our chaotic nature,
Yes.
our unbalanced state, we just miss those opportunities.
Yeah. Or we dismiss the person because, while our experiences are unique to us, I'll give you
Mm,
an example. Let me tell you where that really became true for me. I experienced the power in that particular point. In 2018, I was in South Africa, in Cape Town. I like nature. I love nature. I don't like nature. I love nature. So I was hiking Table Mountain with some strangers. Never met these people a day in my life. The woman that was leading our hike was a very petite white woman and,
mm,
full of energy. Me, I like to document everything that I do. So I had this big old backpack on. I was carrying, in addition to the big backpack, I was carrying an additional 20 pounds as well. So I was
mm,
20 pounds heavier. And I hadn't hiked in years, but I was like, I'm going to make it up this mountain. I got this heavy backpack with all my gear for me to take pictures and all of that, food, drinks, whatever. 30 minutes 30 minutes into the hike, I'm huffing and puffing. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm sweating bullets. The lady, the guide, this Short, petite white woman says, Margaret, let me help you with your backpack. And I looked at her like, you, this tiny lady, you want to help me do what? We went to, I'll manage. I'll manage. Please, let's go. So we're moving. We're still moving. I'm behind. There are 5 of us on this hike. I'm slowing the group down because I keep refusing help. We get an hour and a half into the hike, and she's like, "Okay, Margaret, this hike it's only supposed to take us 3 hours. At the rate that you're going, this will turn into a 4.5 hour hike. Please let me help you with some of the stuff and lighten your load. Let me help you lighten your load." So we start, I start taking some things out, and okay, we're progressing along this hike and I feel better. I'm moving a little bit quicker. 15 minutes in, she's like, Margaret, look, don't feel bad about taking this help. There are men twice your size with backpacks lighter than yours who can't make it up this hill, and I've carried them. I actually have a photo of this tiny lady on my phone with her stuff. She has her own backpack. And all of the stuff, my backpack was practically empty by the time we got to the top of that mountain because I finally accepted and received the help that she was offering. This is what I took away from that hike. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Don't judge it.
If someone is offering you help, it's because they've been on this road before. They know where to step so that they don't lose their footing. And they can help you get there faster. Remember, it's supposed to be a 3-hour hike. Me and all of my junk that I was carrying on my back was slowing down the process.
The entire process, the entire group.
There you go. And the time to completion. So receiving help is not just about, there's nothing weak in receiving help. Receiving help.
Say that again. There's nothing weak in receiving help.
There's
all right.
Nothing weak about receiving help. Receiving help with a discerning spirit can actually accelerate your hike towards whatever goal it is that you're trying to achieve.
You see, I must be very careful the questions I ask you now, because you just keep opening and opening. It's almost like the onion bulb. As you open it, I also get excited. You open again. So this question was not number 2. When I said you set out 3 parts and 3 things. The first one was that you must be able to ask for help or seek for help when the help is required. The second thing is that you must be able to receive help. And I love the example and even what you have demonstrated, because I think usually also we come into this position where we feel that there's and that goes into your third premise, where we think that there's actually a set way to achieving certain things. So I explained this in simple terms. You want to arrive at destination 10, all right? The equation, destination 10. In your mind, you feel that arriving at destination 10 will require 9 of your inputs and 1 of additional input, whether from the sovereign summons or by some other instances, to make up destination 10. So 9 plus 1 will be 10. But somehow, that's where we get it all wrong, because it could just what would be required might just be you reversing it to 2 of your inputs and the elements conspiring, with you, so that they introduce 8 to support you to now reach destination 10. So that's tied into your third premise, as to say that somehow when we are aware, we also know whether it's right for us to pursue that path towards getting to destination 10, or the universe has destination 20 for us. So it's also at the point of awareness, at the point where we can listen, all right, and listen within, that we will be able to hear, all right, to the point where we will know whether this is the right path. So the first one is, there's help available. Do you know when the help has been extended to you? The second thing is that are you able to receive help? Because now somebody is able to offer help. But the third thing is that you could be on the wrong path and you still be insisting that almost like she could also be defiant and say, no, this is the path, I'm going for 10. Meanwhile, nature has prepared 20 or 30 or 40 for you. Wow. Very
and, to that very last part, and I love the example that you used, right? Because through this reinvention process, you talk about endurance and being able to sustain your growth. The surefire way to losing it is by holding strong and steadfast to what you think you know. When people ask me, Margaret, what do you know? I say, I know nothing at all. I know nothing at all. I am open. I am curious and I remain flexible because, again, those things are actually key components to strengthening your ability to be aware, right? Because it is in staying curious, flexible, and open that your knowledge can literally be exponentially expounded on a specific topic. So you use the example of, okay, in my head, when I sat down to think about it, it's going to take me 9 steps. And if I could get this one person to give me step 10, I'll be there. You have to remain flexible. You've got to remain curious. You have to embody childlike a childlike mindset, which means, again, that you don't know anything. And because you don't know anything, that means anything can work. Anyone can work. Any ability is at your fingertips to make this thing happen. But it's when, okay, let's take a step back because we talked about focus. We talked about focus, right? This is not that focus that we're talking about here. Okay. When we hyper focus on our ability to make something happen, we lose our awareness. Okay. And we become inflexible and rigid. And it's no, it has to happen like this. I don't know. My friends,
So no, great. I love the fact that you have been able to also clearly delineate there's a focus and then there's a required flexibility for your assignment.
Yes.
So there's a laser focus that is required to complete a task.
Yes.
All right, to ward off distractions, to ensure that you get the required output. However, be mindful that oftentimes when you come even into yourself in those silent moments where you do your affirmation and you do your visualization, there could be a need to change your sail. All right, there could be a need to change the destination. There could be a new information that is coming, that will require you to move from where you are and then probably move somewhere else. And that one does not require you to remain stagnant. And that's why you must also be attentive. Else, the distractions around you, the noise around you will cluster and debar you from fully harnessing all that the universe is availing or unveiling onto you.
Man, and the universe has availed, so it's availed every single thing that we need to us to be successful. And if we hyper focus on one way to success, that's where we lose. The Bible says that his ways are not our ways. There are no, there's some people that are like, oh, I should pray at 7:03 a.m. with my knees on the ground and my head tilted to the right. And when I pray like that, God will answer my prayer. Are you okay? No, now God does his thing the way he wants to do it. And you will never know. You will, but your job is to remain open. So now the parable that's coming to my mind is the parable of the Samaritan, right? And all of the people that passed this person that was destitute, had been beaten up, laying about to die on the ground. All of those people had rigid focus. I'm a Jew. I'm not supposed to touch the Samaritans. They were rigid, right?
Yeah.
Was it? I'm sorry, I might be mixing it up. But
No, you got it right.
it was the Good Samaritan who was like, no, my overarching focus in this life is to be of service. I don't dictate who I'm of service to. So it is in him being open to say, oh, I can be of service to this person that is here injured on the ground, that he was able to nurse this person, help this person come back to a fullness of life.
Of
So
course.
we've got to remember that when
Doc,
we
Doc, Doc, please, you said something about values. I have a reason why I don't want you to go too far, then I start to
I'm
bring you back
sorry,
home.
I get
Very,
excited.
no, so I'm trying to see the linkages between values. So the guy must have had a mission statement, a
Yes,
personal statement, all right, to say, I want to be of help. And it appears that the things that we declare that we want are the things that we get attracted to or call us.
yes.
So, guys, are you listening now? It's all, listen to this, please. So, you ask for rain, there will be mud, all right? Now, I'm sure some of you want to be, like for me, I want to be a reference in Africa for the advancement of the kingdom business here on earth with specificity along 3 lines: personal responsibility, entrepreneurship, and social impact with focus on women.
Amen.
Now, it therefore means that along the path, there will be things that will also be drawing my attention, but might not be attractive to me in the sense that it won't be the way I've listed it, but it's to propel me to meeting those things. So there is this Samaritan that, based on his values and understanding and crafting his statement, that's why he already is good. That's why he's a good Samaritan.
He was
It
able
gets
to
to that point where, yeah, and there's a call. The call is also obvious, but it's obvious also at the same time. But because he was attentive, he was able to eat that call. And that's why we're making a reference to it today. Wow. So whilst you're crafting your values and you're crafting all your vision statement or personal mission statement, remember that it will not always be the way you want it. It will come dressed in work clothes. It will come with you taking responsibility. It will come with you, setting aside certain things, but stay flexible. But remember, as you pursue your goal, have focus. All right? On the journey, be flexible. But as you pursue your goal, eyes on the ball. So I hope we're getting this. All right.
Yeah.
So please, espouse, wherever you want to, just keep talking, please. Because now I've become a student.
Look, before everyone joined the call, I'm trying to remember the sister's name that was speaking to me. So yesterday, she said okay, yeah, she said her key takeaway was to add moments of reflection into her day or week, just to make reflection an active part of what she does. And that's also a practice of awareness, right? So if I were to take you back to the example of the woman who hired me and then turned into something that I didn't anticipate, but was exactly what I needed to get to where I am right now, I had, in taking a step back to try to figure out what was happening in that moment with her, I had to reflect on what I had asked for. When I started in the pharmaceutical industry 10 years ago, I started in corporate affairs as a health policy and patient advocacy operator. I told God, I said, look, man, my time in this industry is short. Before I'm done here, I want to get back to where I started. Can you imagine that this lady was the vehicle necessary to fulfill my request, and I almost missed it because I was resisting what she was creating, what the universe was creating and crafting through her? It's important for us to reflect. We have to stay reflective on remember what you asked for. When things start going crazy, when your world starts to shake, my friends know me for this. They know that I get excited because I know that what I asked for is about to touch down in this time-space reality. When things start going all over the place, I just try to find, I try to find a still place for myself. I don't do a lot of talking. I don't do a lot of communication because see, what happens is when change is taking place and when you're being shaken up, There's a tendency to start leaning on fear or operating out of fear or doubt, right? And that happens because you start telling people, oh my God, this thing happened to me today. And then that person starts hypothesizing on what they think it could be. Oh, maybe you're under spiritual attack. Sometimes there's no spiritual attack. Sometimes it is an uprooting of your current foundation to lay a new foundation for the next level that you're going to. And it's in that time when that foundation is being set. Do you know when they're laying concrete, they block off the concrete area because they don't want anybody to step on it. It has to, they use the word cure. It has to cure
Oh, yeah.
appropriately so
Oh,
that it will last.
yeah,
You know,
totally fine.
some silly people, they'll come put their handprint or they'll put a footprint there. But, you know, it takes a certain amount of time to cure. So when your world starts shaking, don't go run into Sally or Susie or Bobby or Joe. Shut up. Just shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. That's when you really, really get still. That is when you
Mm.
really, really get still. And you begin to, and you know, brother, you hit me on this the other day, and I shared. So my brother knows I'm in that moment of transformation where things are shaking. He knows I've been silent, hasn't really heard from me, right? But it is
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that time of silence that you now just begin, because if you're reflecting regularly,
Mm-hmm.
you know, okay, what I asked for is about to come. So now in that silence, you begin to practice appreciation, gratitude,
Gratitude.
praise, thank you,
Gratitude.
because it is here,
Gratitude.
it is now. That's what you do. You don't go running into someone. Can you imagine somebody cuts me off today? Can you imagine that my manager is giving me, when you start talking about what your human eyes are showing you, you're going to get more of that. But when you know, again, like I shared with you earlier, because if you know the God that you serve, you know it's for your good. So speak to your good. Don't speak to your detriment. And when you start talking to other people, they don't know what you asked for. They don't know how God is going to bring it into existence for you. So why are you even sharing those things with them? Don't do that. If someone is asking, well,
Uh,
what's going on with you? Just say, it is well.
it is
It
well.
is.
It is
Well,
well.
how can it be well? It looks like, you know, it is well.
It is well.
It is well.
As well.
Period.
Can we just type it out? It is well. I just feel a leading. Can you just type, or just unmute and say it is well? It is just,
It is well.
it's your declaration. Oh. Can you
It
just say
is.
it is well?
It is.
It
It
is
is well.
well. It
It
is
is
Amen.
well.
well.
It
It
is well.
is well.
It is well.
It is well, oh.
It is well. It is. Please don't put that O. Just say it is well, because that O is a sign of doubt. It is well. 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 It is well.
It is well.
And just express some gratitude wherever you are. Just
Wherever you're at.
we're not in church, but we're just being led. And saying, hey, just give gratitude. Lord, I thank you. I just be thankful. Be thankful. See, this is a curious moment, and the lady has shaken a few tables, and I know her very well. Yesterday we broke into, and let me even say this so that people even know. Yesterday
Yeah.
we broke into an unusual prayer session that lasted over 40 minutes.
Yep.
We were not expecting it. And these are the feelers. So you see, when you see things are happening, and then you begin to wonder, there's a dimension to it now. We were
Yes.
calling onto the deep now, calling deep things beyond these things that we're doing, because there are greater plans. What are
Yes.
you planning? Who are you calling? Who are you interacting with? Look, this camp is supposed to also get us to get the right people in our ship.
Yes.
All right, to get the right people in our, to get the right people in our ship, and so that when the storms come, we're able to, lean on each other.
Yes.
We're able to support each other, and that's why we talked about the accountability group. A lot of people are undermining that thing. You need to come to the essence of why you are doing and what we're doing at that instance. Okay, look, I need you to start to ask your questions now, because the time is fast spent. Keeping this woman, she's attending another graduation event, so I can't even keep her beyond. So, guys, I need you, please, ladies, gentlemen, forget if I'm being brash. I beg you, ask your questions now, or just say a word, or mute if you have to, raise up your hand, and let's keep going.
Yes. 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 I'm open for questions. I'm open for questions. And just remember, you know, um, we're speaking English because we're the colonizers, right? But
Mm,
um, English words are so interesting. Thankfulness is there. Gratefulness is there. But let me tell you, last year I learned about appreciation. When you think about appreciation, and for those of you that are in the business world, primarily our accountants or folks that deal with finances, you know that things can appreciate and depreciate. When you appreciate something, you get more of it. Let that sink in. When you appreciate something, you get more of it. So, even that simple level of awareness in your word choice when you are in those moments of stillness and silence makes a difference.
mm.
The people are silent. Did I stun you all into silence? I know I'm good. I didn't know I was that good now. Come on, talk to me.
Tootsie, Sosie.
Hi. Yes.
Right now, right now we are
Hi,
speechless.
hi, Margaret.
Hello.
How are you? I'm Tusi from Botswana.
Beautiful. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Taiwo, I must congratulate you for bringing such wonderful people. I mean, I, I don't even know what to say.
Glory, glory.
Yeah, it is well. Margaret, thank you so much. This has touched me greatly. I think my story kind of really totally relates to your story with a bossy, very bossy, mean boss who got me to make a decision that, you know what, I must just get out and go out and do my own thing. And so I have connected with you and I am so grateful. Thank you so much. Taiwo, you are doing a great job, my brother. We appreciate you. This has been beautiful.
Great,
Thank you
great,
so much
great.
for coming off mute and sharing. I appreciate that. And I'm so happy to hear it resonated with you.
So can we have more people talk or just say something, please? Because I mean, I've lost words to.
Hello, Margaret.
Hello.
Yes, I'm Hame Mutibi, also from Botswana.
Beautiful.
By the way, I'm a business partner with Tusi, the last speaker. Um, I think as we are speaking, we're also discussing on the other side how this is triggering us, and it really was working wonders both for our personal lives, and our business. And I'm also relating to your story and Tusi's because I left my boss, who was actually a boss, a bossy person. And actually, it was a start. She actually was spiraling me for better things in my life. And I became who I am because of living that toxic environment. So it's easy for me to relate to your story. And I have a few pointers from what you said. I've just been sharing them on the chat because they really speak to me as an individual. So when you say that when your world is shaking, you need to look for a steady place and stay there and be silent and don't share a lot, because when you share a lot, it can move away from focus. So
Yes.
that is really powerful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for sharing your takeaway. Man, that look, I learned so much from that one point personally because people we love to talk about what's not working.
Mm,
But when you focus on what's not working, you get more of what's not working. So, how do how do you protect this growth that you've just experienced? You're in a great environment of accountable, like minded people who are forward focused, who can help you shift when you find yourself starting to doubt or fear. You can call up the people in this group to help you shift your focus back to what you said you were going to do or why you set out on this journey to begin with. The story that comes to mind, and I rely on this a lot of times too, especially when I think that I'm getting distracted. I think about Nehemiah and the story of Nehemiah in the Old Testament. You know, he was serving in a high place, and his people came back and they're like, man, Nehemiah, your hometown is a wreck. We're under attack. We don't have a wall to protect us. Can you come home and help, you know, build a wall? And Nehemiah asked for permission from his leader to go home and build the wall. That was his main focus. I got to get this wall built for my people, protect my people, and I can get back to my duties. There was a gentleman by the name of Sanballat who couldn't stand Nehemiah. He couldn't stand the work. Nehemiah was well known in the kingdom. He couldn't stand the work that Nehemiah was doing. As Nehemiah was building this wall, Sanballat would come up to the wall, distracting him. Hey, come down here. We got some food for you. Hey, come see about us. And Nehemiah would say, no, I cannot, I can't entertain you because I'm doing a great work. That is the level of, soundness that we require. However, some of us don't have that level of self-control. So this is where your accountability group comes into play. You can talk to somebody here who's gotten the same word that you've gotten, and they're going to recognize instantly that you need to be encouraged, and they're going to help you get back on the right track. But if you talk to somebody that doesn't understand the mindset that you're currently in, this shift that you have decided to make, they're going to sit there and they're going to be like, yeah, they're going to be your amen choir. Oh yeah, that really sucks. Not what you need. You need to be, your mind in that moment requires an encouragement that that's what it is right now, but that's not the final story. That's, that is the additional piece I would add there.
Great. And I love that and what you just said, because just exposing yourself to some of the things that we've shared here has kind of heightened you, and your level has literally changed. Some people have experienced a change in level in their mind. Some have experienced a change in level or change of dimension. So there are levels and there are dimensions.
Yeah.
Now, once that starts to happen, it will also almost just be impossible for you to start to relate with those that have not come to that consciousness. Right. Else, it will be a wasted effort. It will just be a wasted effort. It's almost like a primary six. Okay, so let's say high school, all right, relating with somebody in the elementary school. That's what has happened. And that's really what has happened. It might look very simple, but this is what is going on right now. Guys, I need you to ask your questions. I need to let her go in another 10 minutes. So if you don't have a question, you could drop a comment or something. Yeah, Ruru, I see you're mute.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening, Mrs. Alabi.
Dr.
Okay, Dr. Alabi, I'm sorry. Okay, so I want to quickly say something. There was something you talked about when you were talking about the toxic, okay, let me not put it, the mean boss you had, or the boss you thought was mean.
Spurred my growth. Let's put it like that.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So there was something you said. I can't say it exactly word for word what you said, but there was something you said about knowing who you are and not losing who you are because a certain person is acting a certain way. So I had an issue with a friend, a very close friend, a childhood friend, and I realized that she acted a certain way to me, which I felt a friend shouldn't. And then I almost retaliated in a way that is not me, And by the time I realized that, I was losing myself because, okay, I'm full of love. Oh, I'm receptive. And all of a sudden, it was like her actions were making me a different person. So I got to that stage where I realized that I cannot be love. And because someone showed some level of hatred to me, then I want to be hatred.
Exactly.
So I'm trying to say this because I feel very happy today. I feel liberated from what you said because now I know that I'm not the only person that feels that way. You know, I accepted it, and then I realized that it is better for me to put an end to this toxic relationship that we had, which was actually very toxic, rather than keep playing. Okay, yes, I'm full of love. I will keep forgiving. I'll keep letting things be. But then I also got to that stage where I realized that it's not healthy for me, because it seems like I'm coming under for you to literally oppress me. You know, so it was two ways. It was either I stop it, because me accepting the things you do, which I know are very wrong, me accepting it was also like a push for me to not be myself per se, you know. So it's like you're speaking rudely to me, and you know that I am not rude, you know, but because I want to resonate with you, all of a sudden I'm speaking rudely to you. And that's not me. And then by the time I'm done, I'm already telling myself, you're not supposed to speak rudely. So you know it's wrong, you know. So I just really want to appreciate you, because this is the first time, honestly, anybody is saying this kind of thing. And I've explained it to people, but it seems like they never got it.
So
You understand? It's
Ruru,
like they never got, yeah.
yeah,
So
you're
thank you
hitting,
very much.
you know what, you are more than welcome, and you already had the awareness within you. So you hit a really key point here. So it's important to remember, for all of us to remember that we are energetic beings, right? So you know how there's some people you get around and all of a sudden you just feel high, you feel excited. And then there are other people you get around and it's just like cold, or you feel like, okay, I should just really be silent in this person's presence. That is
Exactly.
associated with the energy that we all put off. So when you are being your most authentic self, you are vibrating at the highest level that you can exist in when you're being authentic. And what you will find is that your authenticity offends other people. They are
Exactly.
offended by the fact that you are so comfortable in the knowingness of who you are. There are a couple of ways that you can handle it. I think you did a great job, Ruru, because you employed your awareness. You said, okay, this is causing me to step away from who I am, so let me separate myself. That's one way. Another way too is as you just continue to vibrate in yourself, and that doesn't mean that you become a doormat, right? Again, having that level of awareness of why you're in the lives of certain people. So like when as you're let me I want to summarize this up as quickly as I can. For those of us that are here in this space today, we are very where did my camera go? Okay, well, I don't know what happened with my camera, but we are very focused on growing, right? Growth is really important to us. And so because of that, some people are going to be drawn to us. Other people are going to be kind of what's the word, repelled from us because our energies don't match, right? So it's important for you to take note of that. Don't look at it with judgment, because here's the other thing too. As we talk about being love, if love is one of your values, right? Judging other
Yes,
people
yes.
will only bring judgment to you. So what are some, I would encourage you to think about some ways that you can address what you're experiencing with that individual without judging that person, and knowing that that person is also going through a life journey and you are at a different stage of your journey than that person. So that's the other part that's important for us to remember as well, because as we grow, all kinds of, we're going to be met with all kinds of things. The last thing we want to do is slow our growth down by taking time to judge somebody's character or behavior. If you recognize it doesn't resonate with you, great. You figure out what is going to best serve you in moving forward from that situation. And Ruru, you did a great job doing that. So congratulations.
Thank
Okay,
you
so I have
very much.
two more questions. I have I have Eurydice, and I have Francesca. So
All right,
Eurydice,
perfect.
yes.
I'm
Okay.
listening. Uh-oh.
Eurydice, you could unmute now. Yes.
You can hear me now.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Margaret. I'm so humbled by your presentations. I feel so energized, and I'm just a new person now. When you're talking about authenticity, I'm one person who believes in being myself, because I've seen that being authentic make you to attract opportunities. And a lot of time when you attract opportunities, people start labeling you, calling you names. And I've just realized that, you know what, growth is a personal choice and the results are personal.
Yeah.
I've been having a problem of labeling people, but today I've learned that, you know what, I should just allow these people to say whatever they want to say, because they're driving me to my destiny.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to put more attention onto them, and I lose myself, I lose my vision, I lose my goals, and eventually I'm just going to be not be the person that God has destined me to be. So I'm so thankful. I'm now going to be very, very relevant to what I want to achieve. And initially I wanted to move out of where I'm working now. I was looking for a transfer. And I have two friends from here. The other one is a mentor, Jaime and Maplanka Ntebo. They sat me down to say, you know what, we cannot move out of this place because you are doing wonders in this place. It's not that people don't understand what you are doing. Eventually, they will fall into what you are doing and support you. So thank you so much for making me feel comfortable. I'm no longer interested in going anywhere because my vehicles to destiny are here. They have to push me, to cross me, to help me to cross the bridge to my success. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. And that is a beautiful and powerful insight, right? Because we've got to remember, right? Is this a clear sign that I need to leave? Or is it that I'm uncomfortable and it's the discomfort that's making me want to run out of here? Look, there are certain things in life that you cannot go around. You cannot go over. You cannot go under. You have to go through. And it's when you're able to go through that you get the most. So Erudite, it sounds like you're going through and you're about to get a huge reward on the other side of that. That is a powerful thing. So kudos and congratulations to you.
Francesca, thank you, Margaret. So Francesca, you could unmute.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Today's training was awesome, Margaret. Thank you. My question is this, you know, from what Ruru said, she said, you know, some relationships that you find out that are toxic, and it started affecting her values and everything she represented, and she had to leave. You know, and you mentioned now that, but there are some relationships that you need to go through. You can't go over, you can't go under, and there's no middle ground. You must go through it. So my question is, I need to bring it down to, as in down to real life.
Okay.
If now you're talking about your spouse, the person is not aligning with where you are going to, is not understanding where you are going to, is not getting the vision, not getting the, okay, I want to fulfill mandates and, you know, all the stuffs. How do you go about this? Do you say, this is toxic, this is not, this person is bringing out the worst in me? Then do you leave? Do you run away? Or how do you handle that? Or even a sibling, even siblings, you know, this ones, you can't drop them. They are not friends. They are not friends.
Trust me, I've had situations with my siblings as well. And so first and foremost, let me say I'm not a marriage counselor. I am not a therapist. So I will not speak to the exercises that are necessary there. However, I am a growth mindset expert. And when situations like this happen where you seem to be heading down a path and the person that you're coupled with or the family that you're born into is not aligning to your vision, the true power lies with you. It is at this point that you now start to take a look inside and say, wow, I'm focusing a lot of attention on what's happening out there. what can I be doing better? Here's here's a key thing that I use with family, right? I really burst into manifestation in 2017. I could think something and within 2 weeks I have it. It was instantaneous. And the way that I started to carry myself, the way that I started to engage with people, my family couldn't understand it. They were actually against it. They thought that I was a little cuckoo. And instead of focusing on what they were saying about me or how they felt about the actions that I was taking, I used visualization to bring them up to par. So earlier, when I talked about releasing people from judgment, here's the deal. We're all in this physical space. We're all on this earth, right? Together. You can see me on this camera. You can see Brother Taya on this camera. But up here in our heads, we're in completely different places. His mind right now, he's minding the chat. He's listening to me, but he's looking at the chat as well. He's in a completely different place right now than me, who's being here with you and wanting to answer your question. So when we hold people accountable for their current mental position in life, we're passing a judgment that's also impacting us. So it is our duty to free them in our mind. When you hold somebody like, oh my God, this person isn't seeing what I want them to see, they're never going to see it. And to be quite frank with you, it's not for them to understand. Every single one of us has a unique journey and path. You are requesting that this person come to you in alignment, but when you keep looking at where they're not, they're going to stay over there. I would encourage you to begin to see them, whether it's family, your spouse, responding to you. Use that visualization to hear them telling you, you know what? I think you're doing a great job. Or, you know what? I don't understand all that you're trying to do, but I support what you're trying to do. That's what you want to hear from them. And again, because thoughts become things, look, the world has no choice but to take shape around the thoughts that you're thinking. So if you're constantly thinking, well, this person's not supporting me or this person is toxic, you're going to get more of that. There's no two ways around it. For those people that are believers of spiritual text, I don't want to assume that everyone is a Christian, but I would, if let's say, for instance, your spiritual text is the Bible, whether you're reading the Bible, the Quran, whatever spiritual text you read, that thinking and your thoughts becoming things, that's a consistent reality and truth across all spiritual texts. So I would encourage you to think loving thoughts towards those individuals, and you'll find that they start to respond to you with those loving thoughts. It took my mom about 8 months to come around, but I put some really good time and attention to being loving to her in my silent time, in my visualization, and just hear her say, wow, the things that you're doing are actually working for you. Can you show me how to do that? That's what I kept visualizing her say. Can I tell you, my relationship with my mother has never been so sweet, because now, instead of looking at me like, okay, this girl is off, she's now coming to me and sharing her own insights. I gave her the author of one of the books that was really helping me to grow and really strengthen my ability to manifest. She went off and found more books that I had never even seen. And she came back to me, oh, Daisy, my Yoruba name is Adesola. So for short, they call me Daisy. She said, Daisy, did you know that this person has this book? Oh, you got to read this book. And our relationship has been so sweet. But that was because I did not hold her as an enemy to my progress. I encouraged her in my mind to join me. And that is the only power that we have. If you think you can change somebody, in the physical, not going to happen. What you can control, though, is what you think and how you think about that person. And with good intention and with good, what's the word that I'm looking for? With the appropriate time and focus on seeing that person as a, you know, a supportive part of your journey, you'll see that that thing will turn around. And that's just from my personal experience. I hope that helps, Francisca.
Wow, 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 wow. I love you.
Amazing.
I love you. I love you.
Oh, I love
Um,
you too, my sister. And I'm glad it sounds like it resonated. So I'm happy to hear that it resonated. And trust me, that is that visualization piece is a surefire way to shift any situation in your life. Instead of complaining about it, go sit in your quiet place and speak the truth that you want to see into that situation. And in no time, you'll see things begin to shape around you consistent with the thought that you are thinking. It's a really important tool.
That's a summary of the subconscious mind
Yes.
by Murphy. You
Yes.
just summarized that book for me now. I made it have awesome meaning. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you. I'll start practicing today.
please, yes.
Tonight, I'll start.
Amen. Awesome.
yeah. Well, it's been amazing. I lack words even to describe my appreciation, underscoring what you said. Appreciation is the key to advancement, all right,
Yes.
and even manifestation. Francesca, even while something came to mind, only fools doubt proves. All right. So I think that as you pursue on that lane, be less noisy. All right. If there's anything like that, because I believe that sometimes also when we are set in our own ways, we also create so much noise, not necessarily trying shouting and all of that, but because of the buzz around us that somehow people we repel people rather than attract people. But as you pursue that line, almost like what Margaret said, the mom finally came to you seem to be getting something right. Okay. And so it's only fools that proves. If what you're doing, you stay on that course and stay on that lane, and you start to produce results. It doesn't take time. Those people that either to have disparaged you, have demeaned you, or done any thing that is, somehow gotten you sad, will ultimately come back to you. That's one. Two is the fact that as you pursue that journey, you begin to experience certain things that these guys are actually catalysts. You see, and I put a quote here that says that a wise man gets more use from his enemies than a fool from his friends. Okay? So there are some people that are there to propel you. Now, let me give you my own personal experience. I've been married for almost 17 years now. And I had a totally different perspective from my wife. But you know that some of the major tipping points for me has been propelled by her. All right. Where at the point where it's almost like she's trying to, question my truth. I'm provoked to say, hey, this truth is infallible. And somehow she comes back to agree that, whoa, and you were saying this and you were saying this. So sometimes these things also, we have those people around us to spur us, all right? And you will now be thankful. You will now be thankful. So, and since we're a bit, I think everybody's like family, and we're also Christians and Muslims, whatever. The reality is that, look at Joseph. Can you describe the life of Joseph? At the end of the day, those people, the brothers, were actually set in place to take Joseph, all right, to the throne. And and at the end of the day, almost like what we've said, you carry no hatred, no resentment, and you'll be thankful in gratitude, saying thank you and thank you and thank you. Guys, yeah. I hate to have left because she's rushing for her sister's graduation, and her mom insisted that she said,
they're already blowing me up right now.
So I need to let you go now, and so congrats to her, and thank you. Please, can you all give her a thank you, just unmute and just say thank you as she, we release her to go. Oh, Margaret, we're going to talk
Thank
later.
you, Margaret. You are an angel
Thank you,
sent to
Ma. Thank
us.
you so much,
Thank you
Ma. We
all.
really appreciate. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you
you very
much.
much, Margaret.
Thank you,
Be
Margaret.
blessed.
Thank
More
you.
This
grace
was
to
beautiful.
you.
Great,
Awesome, powerful
great,
woman.
great,
Totally.
great, great. Please follow her, and I've dropped the link. And may the elements give us grace to fulfill all that we have been equipped to do in our own lifetime. Thank you all for tuning in. Tomorrow we start on the third journey. On the third journey, on the third tranche of how to sustain the reinvention journey. So for those that have been saying, "Oh, we wish you can continue," tomorrow we start with balance, and then you begin to see how we tie all of this in. And you are here. We say thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you. I see your mom. Wow, thank you so much. Says, thank you, Mr. Adekboju. Thank you, Margaret. We see if I just saying, God bless you, ma. You're amazing. Everybody say thank you. I release you now, and I ask that you're safe, and everything that seems to be a stumbling wall, you are going to break through even in this season and beyond. Amen and amen. Go for it, Dr. Alabi. Good night, everyone. Good night.
Y'all.
Bye.